Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be talking about taking experiences and using it to your own advantage. What that means is, how do you take signals? What is signals, and basically how can that profit you as a beginner trader? Now, we understand that first, sometimes can take a lot of time to master and to actually start making money from at least 3 months. So in that 3 months of learning or 6 months or 1 year of learning, how do you take advantage of the forex market by being a part of that market and actually making money for yourself? Well, there's something called a signal. What that does is you take advantage of the experiences of other people that have been in the market for as long as 3 or 4 5 years, and basically make money off of that experiences by doing exactly what they say, when they say, and how they say. Why? So, for example, a professional trader comes to the board and says, okay, I've done my analysis, and then my analysis says that, for example, NZD/USD is going to have a down day. That means that NZD/USD is going to sell, right? So that signal provider have already done his analysis from his 5 or 4 years of market experiences, and constantly trading through all these markets, and they have determined that NZD/USD is going to sell. For you to be a part of that and make money for yourself, the only thing you have to do is do exactly what it says. Now, the signal provider comes up with different parameters and tells you, this is where I want to sell from, this is where I want to take profit from, and this is where I want to put my stop loss from, right? If you've not watched our video on stop loss, take profit, and entry, right, make sure you watch that video before you come to this one, so you can have a perfect understanding of what taking signal looks like. Now, this man comes up and says, or this trader comes up and says, I'm selling here, buying here, and putting my stop loss here, right? So it gives you something like this, a parameter. Now, all these are parameters. If you look and you trace to the other side of the screen, you see the parameter. So the parameter for this trade would be sales. My stop loss is at 0.60123, and then my entry is at what, 0.59667, and then my TP is at basically this line. If you basically just draw a line, it will take you to that price point. So this line, so its TP is at what, 0.58518. so this is a 1 to 2.42 risk to reward. Now, as a beginner trader, what you have to do is say, okay, this person has said the market is going to sell, this is where it's putting the stop loss, and this is where it's entering from. Now, from his entry to his stop loss is how many pips? We've talked about pips. In this case, this is 46 pips. Remember, look up at there's a figure that will show you when I put my mouse on this diagram. So this is 0.00467. We disregard the last number, which is 7, and then we are left with other number, which is 46. So this is 46 pips. Now, as a beginner trader, the first thing you want to do is to determine how much you're about to lose or win. In this case, you have to determine how much you are willing to risk. Take for example, you are willing to risk $100 on this trade. Now, with $100, there's a calculator that helps you to calculate how much lot size to use in order for you to lose $100 at a 46 pips stop loss. So when you put in the details and you press calculate, the calculator is going to give you a lot size, and the lot size is probably going to be 0.1, 0.2, whatever lot size it gives you. Then what you want to do is use that lot size and enter a trade into the market. Maybe the person has said buy, sell now, for example. So with that lot size that you have been given by the calculator, you then press 0. Take for example, the lot size was 0.16. So you go into your MT4, MT5, and then you put in the lot size of 0.16, and then press the sell button and enter into the marketplace and put your stop loss at this stop loss level, right? And then when the market starts to go in your favor, or the signal provider's favor, and the market just basically starts to gradually gravitate towards the TP area, what usually the signal provider will do is to tell you to modify your position. Now, modification means that you will take your stop loss and put it at your entry point. Now, like I said before, you might not understand all of this concept if you've not understand the concept of stop loss, TP, entries. So do well to take your time to watch the other videos before coming to this one. Now, what you want to do is that you take the number of your stop loss. Now, the number for this stop loss is 0.60123, and then the entry is what, 0.59667. At the spot given for you to change your stop loss, when you want to modify, you will now impute a new number. When the signal provider says you should modify, the new number now would be your entry point. Sometimes the signal provider would actually give you the exact number to modify to. Take for example, you wanted to close half of its position. So half of this position will be 23, right? So 23 pips. So if you go down and then half of this will be basically somewhere around there. This is 23, yeah. So it would give you this number, and with this number you would modify your stop loss to where it says it. Most of the time they will ask you to modify to your entry point, so that way you can no longer take a loss on the trade idea, should in case in the future the market does not go exactly as it plans and just goes right straight back to stop loss. So instead of actually losing your initial money, which is $100 that you risk on this trade, you will now be losing nothing, absolutely nothing, right? So that's the concept of stop loss, TP, and modification. So you always want to modify your trades. You always want to modify, especially when you are in deep profits. In order not to give away back that profit, you can modify your position, and in order not to even take a loss. So modification is actually very important. When I send out my signal, that's what I do. When I send the trades out, when we hit 1:1, I tell everybody to modify their stop loss to their entry point, so that way they can no longer take a loss in the market. The worst that comes to happen is that we hit a break-even point, or we just hit full TP at 1:3, which is a constant TP or risk to reward of mine. So ladies and gentlemen, this video is basically targeted at beginners. If you're not a beginner, that's okay. Let the people that are willing to learn. And then if you have any question, you can hit me directly, and then I'm going to be able to answer these questions. I hope I do not take too much of your time. This is just a basic snippet, and I want you all to understand the concept of TPs and stop losses, and then you can use that in your own trading. Thank you so much. I am VIP, and I will see you in the next video.